10th spot, we have the Moko Mokai collection. Well, we are starting off strong with a truly scary and disturbing photo. This is a photograph of a man named Major General Horatio Gordon Robley, who had a collection of 35 heads that he stole from the native Maori people. Apparently in New Zealand, there were people called Maori that preserved the heads of fallen people. The heads were chopped off, boiled, smoked, dried in the sun, and then dipped in a shark oil before being displayed like a trophy. Whoa. They are known as the Moko Mokai. Anyways, these heads were robbed by the British when they moved into New Zealand, and this pic is one of the guys who stole them. Honestly, the man feels just as chilling to look at as the heads. Does anyone else agree? It's probably because he's holding something that looks like it could be a sharp object that might have helped in the chopping process. I don't know, could be just me.
Our number 9 on this list, anyone who's wanted, well, the reward for finding them is $20 million. Alright, so anyone who's whose wanted reward is $20 million, well, they have to be a pretty freaky fellow. Well, Rafael Caro Quintero, well, he's apparently still wanted by several 3-letter agencies, and also made famous by Netflix's Narcos series. Well, let's take a look at how this dude wound it up on this list. Well, Rafael Caro Quintero, he was born on October 3rd, 1952. Well, he's a Mexican drug trafficker who co-founded the now disintegrated Guadalajara cartel. He founded this with Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, and along with other drug traffickers in the 1970s. He is the brother of fellow drug trafficker Miguel Caro Quintero. He was the founder and former leader of the defunct Sonora cartel. When he was a teenager, Caro Quintero allegedly began to grow marijuana on a low scale at the ranch owned by his brother Jorge Luis. In less than 5 years, Caro Quintero managed to buy several other ranches in the surrounding areas, and he began to amass a fortune. He has been cited as a pioneer, like imagine being the pioneer to like a drug trade in Mexico, and he is described as one of the preeminent drug traffickers of his generation. But if that's not enough, of course there is murder in the mix. Up next, number 8, we have Alexis Flores. He was born in 1975. He is a Honduran fugitive, and that's for the kidnapping and rape and murder of 5-year-old Ariana de Jesus in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 2000. Flores is the 487th fugitive to be placed on the FBI's most top 10 wanted fugitives list. So on March 22nd, 2007, a local arrest warrant was obtained in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and Florence was charged with the murder and various other felonies to go along with that. On the same day, a federal arrest warrant for Flores was obtained in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and he was charged with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. I mean, anyone on this list, if they're caught, they're gonna try to flee. Well, Flores was added to the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives list in 2007, and there was a reward of up to $100,000 for just information that would lead to his capture. This is offered by the FBI. A lot of these people on the most wanted list, they're very valuable, which makes it really hard for them to stay on the run because everyone is looking for them. Everyone wants to cash in a big day. Coming in hot, and at number 7 on this list is George Edward Wright. Well, he is wanted for his involvement in a series of crimes dating back to 1962. I mean, this guy has been on the run for a very long time. This guy is no stranger to doing some pretty terrible things. Well, let's check them out and travel back through time. On November 23rd, 1962, Wright and an accomplice who was later arrested shot and killed the owner of a gas station in Wall, New Jersey during the commission of a robbery at a business. On December 13th, 1962, Wright was indicted for the murder. He entered a plea of no defense and was sentenced to prison for a period of 15 to 30 years. Then on August 22nd, 1970, Wright escaped from the New Jersey State Prison in Leesburg, New Jersey. So the state of New Jersey issued an arrest warrant for Wright after he was charged with escape, and on August 26, 1970, a federal arrest warrant was issued for Wright in the United States District Court, District of New Jersey. And then after that, he was charged with unlawful flight to avoid confinement. Anyone who escapes from prison is an automatic red flag criminal. And number 6, we're bringing you a pretty intense story about domestic terrorism and one slippery member of a domestic terrorist group that got away. Josephine Sunshine Overacre, an American citizen believed to be either 43 or 46 years old. I mean, why do we even care? Well, they fled to Europe in the late 2001s. Overacre faces 19 felony charges charges: conspiracy to commit arson and destruction of an energy facility, attempted arson, and arson in the District of Oregon. Also in the Western District of Washington and the District of Colorado. This person just wanted to go everywhere, just light everything up. In 2004, the FBI merged 7 independent investigators from its Portland, Oregon field office, and they called them Operation Backfire. According to an agency statement, the operational focus is on investigating acts of domestic terrorism carried out on behalf of 2 activist groups. So she was suspected of at least 25 domestic terrorism acts, including the $26 million firebombing of a Vail ski resort in Colorado in 1999. And then she was arrested in Cuba in 2018, and right now in 2020, she's somewhere out there. We have no idea where. Okay, so right now we're halfway through this list. This next gem of a monster is still on the loose, and the reason behind it is still gut-wrenching. Yasser Abdul Saeed, born in 1957, is a fugitive of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list, an Egyptian resident of the United States. So he could be living amongst you guys. I know a lot of you guys are from the States. Well, he is wanted for the murder of his 2 teenage daughters in Irving, Texas. Saeed, who was very controlling over his family, was believed to have felt that his daughter, Amania, and Sarah dishonored the family by refusing to adhere to the standards to the traditional Egyptian culture behavior. So he killed his daughters because of their behavior, but their behavior wasn't abnormal. He was very controlling. All right, from there, let's move on. Number 4. Okay, so this next one has an unexpected twist, so I just had to add it in. We're talking about Mark Stephen Bauman. He allegedly sexually assaulted a 7-year-old girl during a 6-month period in 2002, and this is according to the Texas authorities. He is on the list of the 10 most wanted sex offenders in the States, and he is thought to be in Mexico right now, but I mean, we haven't found this person, so we don't actually know his whereabouts. Well, Bauman was known to have ties to Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and Colombia. In 2007, a probation violation of an original offense, aggravated sexual assault of a child warrant, was issued by the Travis County Sheriff's Office for his arrest. Additional warrants were also issued for Bauman's arrest in 2007 by the Austin Police Department for possession of child pornography, improper photography, and failure to comply with sex offender registration requirements. While the U.S. Marshal have also issued a warrant for Bauman's arrest for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. I mean, I think we can put this on everyone. We can say that everyone tried to avoid prosecution because a lot of these guys are wanted for some pretty horrible things, and when they're captured, well, they're gone away for life anyway, so what are they going to lose? All right, in at number 3, we have a guy who's been out there on the loose for the past 44 years, and that's as of February of 2020. Well, there is a prolific killer on the loose. Former State Department Foreign Service Officer William Bradford Bishop. He murdered his whole family in Bethesda and then suddenly just disappeared. This is a killer mastermind. Investigators said on March 1st, 1976, Bishop told his boss that he was sick. Well, he went into Sears at Montgomery Mall. He bought a sledgehammer and a gas can. He fueled up the station wagon, got a shovel and pitchfork at the Bethesda hardware store, went home, killed his wife, then his 3 sons, and then his mother. He took the hammer that he bought and beat her over the head and killed her in just the most terrible way that you can think of. So first this guy killed his wife, and then he killed his kids who were getting ready for bed. They were in pajamas, and then blood splatter that he left behind shows him going to the back of his house, and that's where he killed his own mother. And then he drove south to North Carolina, dumped the bodies in a grave he dug, and set them on fire, and then drove to the Great Smoky Mountains and then vanished. Next up on this list, number 2, I mean, I have to include this on this list. A lot of people will find this humorous, but this is a pretty serious deal. So for all you cool cats and kittens out there, you know where I'm going with this one. We're talking about Carole Baskin. Well, Carole Baskin, we know where she is. She's at Joe's zoo because she just overtook his zoo. I'm pretty sure she is now the proud owner of his zoo while he's in jail with, I'm pretty sure, with the virus. And I hope Trump is able to do one thing good and get him out of prison. Well, in this one, in the number 2, we're talking about Carole Baskin's husband. I mean, where is he? I know in the show, in the Netflix documentary, they were kidding about maybe feeding him, like the possibility of feeding him to a tiger. Well, it seems fairly plausible because there is no way that this guy just packed up and left town. Is Carole Baskin a murderer? Do we have the wrong person in jail? I think Joe and Carole Baskin, and a lot of people, I'm sure millions of people can agree with this, I think they should switch places because I'm pretty sure she murdered her husband, unless this guy is a genius, wanted to get away from her, and he just disappeared. So the big question is Carole Baskin's husband still in hiding? Is he going to reappear one day? I don't think so. And finally, number 1, we have Ghislaine Maxwell, the youngest of Elizabeth and Robert Maxwell's 9 children, and he was born in France in 1961. Well, the family lived in an English mansion, and her father was the founder of a media empire and served in Parliament. Maxwell attended one of the UK's most exclusive boarding schools, and then Oxford University. So we're talking about a pretty, rich family background, and someone who's very intelligent. Well, as members of the British High Society, Maxwell mingled with some of the nation's most celebrated families and became friends with Prince Andrew. After Epstein's death in 2019, Ghislaine literally fell off the face of the earth. This month it was reported that lawyers for accusers seeking to file a civil suit against Maxwell have been unable to locate her. This is a very curious case of someone in hiding indeed. I mean, what did they do? What are they hiding from?
Alright, coming in at number 10, we have the blast off chair. This is officially a declassified black and white image of a secret Air Force project taking place in the desert lands surrounding Area 51. In this image we can see the United States Air Force running a very exciting test indeed. We see a car and an aerodynamic looking vehicle together, and then a whopping great chair that seems to have blasted off with a person in it. Maybe it's a dummy. Up and away. The plane-like vehicle says Test 24 on it and has a camera monitoring it. We don't know exactly what's happening here. I think context, I imagine, would be key, but we don't have any. If you think that mountain range looks familiar, here it is again at number 9.
In our number 9 spot, we have the woman in the attic. Well, the story behind this picture is extremely chilling, so chilling that I definitely threw on some show tunes and sang for a moment after reading about it. In case you're curious, Wicked is always my musical of choice. Speaking of Wicked, this was not planned, I swear. The woman in this photograph is a real woman who had a wicked mother who locked her in an attic for 25 years. An anonymous tip to the authorities in 1901 was how she was found, 55 pounds in a room filled with feces, old meat, and insects. Thankfully, she was okay health-wise, but mentally, as you can expect, not so much. This is a photo of her and how she was found. Truly horrible to see. While looking at this photograph and seeing her long brown hair, I'm now convinced that this is where Disney got some of their inspiration for the movie Tangled. There are way too many similarities that I'm sure they took and made 1,000 times more light and cheery. In our number 8 spot, we have For Sale. This is a photograph from 1948 that honestly at first glance I thought it to be some kind of joke. Maybe the young ones in the photograph were being bad and the mom was threatening to sell them. You know, the old tricks parents would play when children's aid wasn't a phone call away. Anyways, apparently this is a picture of something very real that was happening due to poverty at the time, and that instantly makes the picture chilling and sad. Apparently the mother and father of these young ones, Mr. and Mrs. Chalifo, needed money desperately, and so they sold them. It was said that the mother was paid to stage this photo, and perhaps that is why there is an air of phoniness to it, but no later than 2 years after all of their young ones had been sold to families. In our number 7 spot, we have On the Brink of Death. A man by the name of Robert Overacre decided that he wanted to raise awareness for the homeless. And how was he going to do it? Oh, by doing a stunt that would attract the masses. He was going to jet ski over Niagara Falls. And this is a picture of him doing just that. This was the last picture of him taken as he fell to his death, as his parachute did not open as planned. Apparently one of the police officers at the Niagara area has said that it would have been like hitting cement as he fell 180 feet. Wow. What a haunting photo to look at. He was only 39 as well. This is why I will never skydive because, well, there isn't a 100% survival rate, so there's that. Also, I'm a chicken. So there's also that. In our number 6, we have the two-headed dog. I always feel like puking when I see this photo. It is just the most inhumane thing ever, and it makes my heart hurt to look at. This is a photo that was taken in the 50s of the Soviet scientist Vladimir Demikov and his science experiment, the two-headed dog. He beheaded the head off of one of the dogs and attached it to the other dog. He sewed their circulatory systems together and connected their vertebrae with plastic strings, and after the surgery was completed, both of the heads could hear, see, smell, and act as a normal dog would. The dog survived only 4 days before passing away. This scientist's research led to the creation of transplants, but wow, was this a horrible thing to have done. Also, he apparently only did this experiment due to boredom, so perhaps my anger stems from having learned that. In our number 5 spot, we have Mary Reeser. This is a picture of a blown up Mary Reeser. This picture showcased quite the story from its time. On July the 2nd of 1951 in St. Petersburg, Florida, a woman by the name of Mary Reeser somehow caught fire, and all that remained was a part of her skull and her left leg surrounded by her ashes. She was discovered by her landlady, and after the investigation, the police were unable to say as to how she could have possibly caught fire. It was this story where the idea of spontaneous human combustion was theorized, but scientists today say that they are almost certain that this could not be the case. But what is weird is that most of her house was largely devoid of fire damage, so it makes no sense. I suppose we shall never know, and this picture will continue to scare us till the end of time. In our number 4 spot, we have the truck stop killer. In the 70s, there was a killer by the name of Robert Ben Rhodes who would pick up while he was driving his commercial truck across America, and then he would kill them. He was suspected to have taken the life of over 50 women. Anyways, when he was finally caught, a picture of a named Regina K. Walters was found along with many other photos of women inside Robert's home. This photo is believed to be taken right before he killed Regina. Man, oh man, how horrible. This is quite chilling to look at. Sometimes I'm so surprised when evidence like this is leaked to the public. This must have been haunting for her family and friends to see. In our number 3 spot, we have the Radium Girls. This is another chilling photo of a girl that was a part of the Radium Girls, which were a number of women known for working at factories in the 20s where they were exposed to so much radium that they actually would come home glowing in the dark. Unfortunately, the prolonged exposure caused them to have a series of problems, such as their jaws began to swell up and fell off, their vertebrae would collapse, and eventually they passed of cancer. So knowing that this is a pic of one of those women makes this picture so much worse than it looks. However, it does already look like a scary picture of a woman in pain. Pretty scary to think about the amount of people working in factories today or working with technology that might bring about future death that we haven't been able to predict yet. In our number 2 spot, we have Annalise Michel. Yeah, this picture will definitely give you the heebie-jeebies even without knowing the backstory. But what if I told you that this is a pic of a woman that was believed to be possessed by the devil? Yeah, this photo just got 100 times scarier, didn't it? Yeah, well, this is a photo of a young lady by the name of Annalise, and she was a pretty devout Catholic German and grew up in the 60s. She was completely normal until she suddenly started hallucinating, eating spiders, routinely convulsing, and just drinking her own urine. She claimed that the devil was possessing her, and she would later go on to have 67 exorcisms. Nothing worked, and she ended up passing away from malnutrition at the age of 23. Her tale is what inspired the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Yep, deeply chilling. In our number 1 spot, we have the Pioneer's Defense. Save the best for last. This is probably one of the creepiest photos that I have ever seen. This is a historical image taken by the Russian photographer Viktor Bula in 1937. If it isn't creepy enough without the explanation, here's the explanation. These are people that were part of a Soviet youth group called the Young Pioneers, and they are wearing gas masks because they were in the middle of a military preparation drill, as this was during a time when Joseph Stalin was the dictator and no one knew if death was around the corner. Yikes. Sometimes I am so thankful to be alive right now. Even though it does seem as if we're going through a bit of a mental war in this day and age, a physical war is way scary to think about being a part of.
Starting off this list, number 10 we have Pedro Lopez, who is by any measure one of the most depraved human beings ever to walk the earth. The former car thief was found guilty of murdering 110 young girls in Ecuador in 1983 and confessed a further 240 murders in the neighboring Peru and Colombia. He said at one point he was raping and killing 3 girls a week. Police only believed this guy when a flash flood happened, like the flash flood came in and it uncovered a mass grave. Absolutely insane.
Coming into number 9, we have the Silver Disc Over the Mountains. Sounds like a band name or a good album name. Further back, but clearly in the same sort of area topography speaking, I came across an image of a man taking a picture of a strange silver disc in the sky. The image is purportedly from Area 51 and it certainly looks like it could be. I'm aware that this image very much could be photoshopped, very easily photoshopped, but perhaps the story I have to tell you will inspire you to give it the benefit of the doubt. There is a road near Area 51 that has been renamed the Extraterrestrial Highway. It's a 100-mile stretch of State Route 375 near Rachel, Nevada. It was given its whimsical rebranding in 1996. Along this highway, countless people have reported seeing mysterious lights in the sky, especially during the 80s and 90s. Even today, night drivers are baffled by the so-called moving stars. Could it be a UFO similar to that allegedly in this picture? Maybe. But what might this be at number 8? We have what I can only describe as the metal wall. This image was posted in National Geographic and is a declassified image from Area 51. The footnote on the image reads full-scale model assembly 1159. Now this leads me to believe that this image was taken in November 1959, but honestly I don't know that for a fact. Although the image is in black and white, which does make me think it's an oldie. While it may be an oldie, it certainly does look futuristic. This could be an early stage development of a spy plane. In fact, I'd put my money on it. Coming into number 7, we have Veeam. We are an ultralight beam. We are an ultralight beam. Honestly, sometimes I do stop to wonder if Kanye West is an alien. Like, he's pretty successful whilst also being a bit strange and aloof and otherworldly. I don't want to be the one to start an unsubstantiated rumour though. Anyway, before we stray too far into salacious speculation, have a look at this ultralight beam legit image taken at Area 51, and I want to know what's going on here, and is Kanye West behind it? This black and white image was published as part of a series of declassified images of Area 51 published in National Geographic. Again, context is king, but we simply don't have any. It's hard to tell if this image was taken outdoors. It's kind of blurry and distorted from the light. It could be taken outdoors, but also that could be a curtain backdrop. I just can't tell. If it is a curtain, then perhaps this was taken in a studio, in which case what Hollywood grade stuff is being filmed at Area 51. Some people think that the moon landing was staged there, and if this is a studio with a massive model UFO, then maybe. I think I simply need more information. Coming into number 6, we have the floaters. Doesn't sound great, does it? In April 2016, large, bizarre and very much unidentified flying objects were spotted over Area 51. Allegedly, anyway. There are so many fakers and conspiracists out there that it's hard to know what to believe. 3 oblong objects were said to have been caught on film from a distance hovering over a hangar. The footage was uploaded to YouTube but has mysteriously been deleted. A still shot of the video, however, does remain. Why was the YouTube video deleted? Did we see too much? Maybe. The real question though is, what are these? Coming in at number 5, is that the Tardis I see? The Doctor is a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey and he is constantly time travelling. The Doctor is a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey and he's constantly travelling time and space and encountering other aliens, so it stands to reason that the extraterrestrial may end up at Area 51 at some point. It seems like his TARDIS may have been spotted there in recent years. Have a look at this. Some are hailing this image taken of Area 51 legit, and actually it was taken on Google Earth. Some people think it looks like an alien tower, but others like me are straight up calling it a triangle TARDIS. You can find this image yourself if you type this into Google Earth. On estimation, this structure is around 70 feet high and 30 feet wide, and I'm wondering if, Doctor, maybe you're there. Some of the Storm Area 51 memes have been claiming ownership of the TARDIS if it's found there, and to be honest, it has been rumoured that the centre is testing time travel, so maybe the Doctor has been captured there, or at least his spaceship. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I've always wanted to be a doctor's assistant, so if anyone's watching from casting at BBC, take me. Coming in at number 4, we have the pyramid. There are pretty nuts theories out there circulating that aliens built the pyramids. Why? Well, because it would be a feat of strength for humans even today, let alone humans of thousands of years ago. Allegedly, former Area 51 worker Bob Lazar claimed that the building contains evidence that aliens have influenced human culture for over 10,000 years, so maybe it's true. Triangles and pyramid shapes are also linked to New World Orders, and the Illuminati have also in turn been linked to extraterrestrials, so maybe there's something to it. Either way, feast your eyes on this.
Pyramid. This is from Google Earth. You can look it up yourself. You just look up the coordinates.
A Google Earth image of what looks like a pyramid inside Area 51, right here. Curiouser and curiouser. For those of you who want to look at this yourself, put these coordinates into Google Earth. Some people think that this is proof that Area 51 is harvesting alien technology. Other people think that the structure has a much more normal explanation. What do you think? Let me know. Some classic Area 51 conclusion stuff here at number 3, we have the Morgue. Of all of the pictures on this list, of this one I am perhaps the most skeptical, but it is a true classic. This is one of those proof of aliens for reals images circulated in the 1990s. It's kind of a lot like the alien autopsy video. This image was said to have been taken by a whistleblowing worker of Area 51 and leaked to the press. The only thing is that alien bodies like this are so easy to fake. In fact, even the alien in the alien autopsy video was a model, so these very well could be too. Creepy models that I wouldn't want anywhere near me. Still though, the image could have been staged and taken anywhere in the world, and honestly, it probably was. That being said, maybe it's legit. Maybe we're trained not to believe in things like this by the powers that be that don't want us to. Coming into number 2, we have the Silver Pod. YouTube channel Explore With Us ventured to the land surrounding Area 51 in June 2017. The channel shared exclusive footage with their 700,000 strong following, which claimed to show abandoned secret tunnels around Area 51, which looked something like this. Weird. To me that looks like an old sneaky cheeky secret rail tunnel, and I'm wondering what it was used for, like smuggling aliens in and out? Question? Later on in their adventure, the YouTubers also spotted this very odd site hidden in the trees. Take a look. To me it looks like a silver ball on a triangular plinth. Also, it's in the hills surrounding a top secret facility. What does this really mean? Is it some kind of alien communication device, or watching device, or listening device? So many devices it could be. Okay, finally, do you want to see a very scary sight from Area 51? Check this out at number 1, and perhaps let it be a warning. We have the bikers.
Centimeters?
I knew you should. I know.
Listen, we're gonna give you guys a chance, okay? Get on your bikes, get the out of here. We'll call Lincoln County and they'll write you each a $750 ticket.
Okay.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if you just rolled up at Area 51 and tried to see them aliens? Perhaps a little precursor to the whole Storm Area 51 thing. I wouldn't recommend it for this very reason. Meet the bikers who were about to be met with bullets, but made a very lucky escape. Dramatic footage was uploaded to YouTube of a biker group who rode up to Area 51, kinda brazenly. As you can see from these images, they were met with quote-unquote camo dudes. The camo dudes come from nowhere in a white jeep and quickly jump out and point firearms at the intruders. The guards tell the guys to get the F out of there. The video from MacD Adventures has had over 7 million views, people love it. This isn't the only instance of this kind of response caught on camera either. YouTube channel Third Phase of the Moon uploaded this video featuring this hairy moment. So that's a response that people get when it's just a few of them swinging by Area 51. What if 3 million people did turn up and quote-unquote storm it? I mean, if you're gonna have guns pointed at just a handful of people, what would the government do? Honestly, it's a question that I'm not sure we want answered.